Okay, so I was looking at the video I was going to be doing, and I was reading some articles and doing some research, and it starts in Harris County in Texas. And looking around trying to get an idea of, like, if this is happening, it is, but like where it's happening across the United States. You can see I wound up in Los Angeles County. So we're going to start in Los Angeles County and work our way back to Harris County. Neither one of them have a lot of information, and they'll tell you that they're working on it and they're implementing this and that. They're doing nothing about it, which is why it's still happening. But this is, anyway, I would like to mention, people hate it when I do this. 93% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, you're at your computer, I go just click the button and I'll let it go. Anyway, right now we're in Los Angeles County, and this is, I think, 3 videos and an article, and we will wrap up in Harris County, Texas.
Now at 1:30, after enduring a tragic 24-hour period last week, the LA County Sheriff's Department says it's taking steps to make sure its employees have access to mental health resources. The department lost 4 current and former employees to suspected cases of suicide.
And now Sheriff Robert Luna says that they're working to prevent any more tragedies. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter live now in the KTLA News Center with more. Corrine?
Glenn and Lou, there is a stigma within law enforcement. Some first responders, they're reluctant to ask for help if they're struggling on the job or even battling depression. Now, these recent deaths have put a new spotlight on mental health awareness within the country's largest sheriff's department.
They are hurting like anyone else does with this incredible loss that we have suffered.
LA County Sheriff Robert Luna speaking out on the recent deaths that have shaken his department. 4 sheriff's employees, 1 retired and 3 current members, suspected of taking their own lives last week, all within a 24-hour period.
We lost a sheriff's commander, a deputy sheriff, a custody assistant, and a retired employee who are just as important part of our family as anybody else.
In the history of the department, has this ever happened? 4 deaths in such a short period of time.
As far as our records reflect, we have not seen anything like this.
What's also unprecedented, suicide rates to date within LASD in 2023. 9 deaths reported so far this year. While the sheriff could not comment specifically on these cases, he said it does not appear the 4 recent tragedies are connected. Detectives have launched investigations, and once they conclude,
we will dissect each individual employee's case. And what we're doing is we're looking for patterns, trends of any kind, for the sole purpose of prevention.
Sheriff Luna says that starts with ensuring department personnel have the resources and services needed to address mental health issues and employee wellness. According to the CDC, first responders are more likely to die by suicide than in the line of duty.
Our bureau currently employs more than 20 full-time licensed psychologists that specialize in police psychology.
Dr. Steve Satal heads LASD's in-house Psychological Services Bureau, and he says there's a 24-hour crisis support for employees. Also, 2 full-time sworn deputies that assist with substance resource programs and other peer support. Satal says there's free confidential counseling for individuals, couples, and families. It's unclear what factors caused these deaths, but LASD currently has a staffing crisis. Short-handed hundreds of deputies, putting more strain on employees.
If you get into that dark spot, it can be detrimental.
Retired Santa Monica police officer Christina Correa endured her own physical and mental trauma in her career, including being shot in the line of duty. Correa is a vocal advocate for mental health assistance, especially in the early stages of a struggle.
Where we do help officers when they go through a trauma or they're going through an injury or they're going through whatever they're going through, make sure we get a hold of them, in the right amount of time.
I don't know if law enforcement agencies have talked about suicide as openly as we are now. It's difficult. They're not easy things to talk about. That reduces that stigma and pushing employees to just seek help.
As for the 4 recent apparent suicides, Sheriff Luna couldn't confirm whether those employees received mental health assistance before their deaths. That's the very latest in the News Center. I'm Corrine Winter. We'll send it back to you now in the studio.
Thank you, Corrine. So let's see what they've done lately.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is in mourning following recent deaths.
And this is the latest you're going to find on anything about this, anything they've done. This is in like within 6 months of the incident, and this is, I'm not scouring for hours and hours and hours. It can be right there on the first 4 or 5 pages, or I'm not gonna look for days on this. If they want you to know, it will be front and center. They've done nothing.
By current and former employees who took their own lives. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda talked to Sheriff Robert Luna today.
It's a brotherhood and sisterhood at the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. So any loss is tragic.
Also, brotherhood and sisterhood. The last video, the last one I literally just put up, is a Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. The Art Gonzalez that was the whistleblower, and he was talking about the deputy gang known as the executioners. Yeah, this is the same department. Let's remember that.
It's emotional.
LA County Sheriff Robert Luna says the department is in pain after 4 of their own died by suicide in just a 24-hour period. They happened between Monday and Tuesday. The department says 3 were active members of the agency and 1 was retired.
If you're not okay, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say you're not okay.
The Sheriff's Department says 9 current or former employees have died by suicide so far this year. Studies show that across the country, more officers die from suicide than killed in the line of duty. Data going back to 2018 shows the pattern. Just last year, according to the FBI, 118 officers died in the line of duty. Blue Help, which is a nonprofit that collects data on law enforcement suicides, estimated 161 suicides that same year. Laura Linder is the founder of Exclusively First Responders, which tries to create awareness about mental health issues for law enforcement.
They're overworked, but mostly the mental health that happens to them based on, the traumas that they're seeing on a daily basis, they're human. They're going to have that's going to affect them.
The department is looking at all of these cases and so far do not appear to be connected. The sheriff agrees the department, which is the largest in the nation, doesn't have enough deputies.
As we dissect each one of them, I'm not saying that all of them are the same. We look for patterns, but we have a staffing crisis with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
They look for patterns. I think it was 40% of them belong to the executioners gang. There's a pattern. I'm just throwing that out there.
We are shorthanded well over 1,000 deputies.
I'm Carlos Granda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
And a reminder, you can...
And I'm just going to stop this here, because if YouTube sees and hears all that, they're going to strike the channel, and they're going to be sending me damn emails and shit about if I feel like I want to hurt myself and stuff, because they've seen that in my videos. So I'm going to stop that right there. But yeah, so that's all that. That seems like same shit, different day there, doesn't it? It does. Same shit, different day. I don't do anything about it. Really. Have some free counseling. Okay, so they get free counseling. Well, taxpayers pay for it. But when they terrorize you, you got to go pay for counseling. Let that sink in. That's where we're at with that one. Also, this is the second time. I might make it 3. 92% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. Click the button. And this is all I can find on it. Right here is where we're at. LA Sheriff's Department mourns 4 employees died by suicide in 24 hours. And this is around the same time, but this will at least give you some names. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is mourning an unprecedented tragedy after 4 current and former employees died by suicide in a span of 24 hours. I'm probably going to point that word out and not say it, because YouTube, they're picky about when they're going to put the hammer down. 3 of the were in North LA County, but it's unclear if they're related. Sheriff Robert Luna said in a statement, he has the deepest concern for our employees' well-being. We are stunned to learn of these deaths, and it has sent shockwaves of emotions throughout the department as we try and cope with the loss of not just 1, but 4 beloved, active, and retired members of our department family, Luna said in a statement. During trying times like these, it's important for personnel, regardless of rank or position, to check on the well-being of other colleagues and friends. The first death was reported around 10:30 a.m. Monday in Valencia, the Sheriff's Department said. A little more than 2 hours later, authorities responded to another death in Lancaster. The third was reported Monday evening in Stevenson Ranch, and on Tuesday morning, a current LASD employee died at a hospital in Pomona. The employees have not been publicly identified by the department, but medical examiners' records show that Greg Hovland, Darren Harris, and Karina Thompson all died of self-inflicted wounds. Derek executive director of the Deputies Union, the Association for Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs, confirmed that the fourth death was also suicide. Harris, 56, had been with the department for more than 26 years. He was once the spokesperson for the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station. Harris also worked in the Sheriff's Information Bureau and the Department's Transit Services Bureau as a captain. Hovland, 67, had retired from the department as a sergeant. Thompson, 59, was a custody assistant with LASD. Richard Pippin, president of the Deputies Union, said LASD has lost 10 people in 2023, including 2 children of deputies. Couldn't find anything on that either. I've been on for 34 years. I've never seen anything like this, Pippin said. He said the department is 1,100 deputies short of needed levels, which is putting a lot of pressure on the current employees and their families. People are working 70 hours a week in some cases, Pippin said, which is adding a lot of strain to an already stressful job. Law enforcement officers are 54% more likely to, according to a 2020 study in the Harvard Library of Medicine, department is offering resources to the grieving families through a Psychological Services Bureau and the Injury and Health Support Unit. LASD is also exploring ways to reduce stress for employees at work and in their personal lives. Linda said LASD personnel and their families can access free confidential counseling 24/7 through the Department's Psychological Services Bureau. The department also has a peer support program available for extra assistance. They've had that. They've done nothing new. This is what's been in place for the whatever, I guess. And yeah. Executive Director of Union confirmed the fourth death was also suicide. So they've named 3. Greg Hovland, Darren Harris, Karina Thompson, Derek, Executive Director of the Deputies Union, the Association for Los Angeles Deputies, confirmed that the fourth was also a... So they're not naming the fourth one for whatever reason. But we're going to see, because this looks like 3 males and a female. And we'll just see what's up now, because here's what I was working to.
By to veteran Harris County Deputy Christina Caller. Her death last week was ruled a suicide. Caller is one of 4 current or former Harris County deputies who've taken their own lives in just the last 6 weeks. ABC 13's Jessica Willey is live tonight, and this is leading to important conversations about the need for support, Jessica.
And this was like March 19th, 20th, somewhere around there. It's just a few days ago.
Yeah, Eric, the department has a behavioral health division that has made great strides since it was established in 2020 and has led the way, its director says, among law enforcement agencies. But these recent deaths are raising serious concerns for the deputies organization. The question is, what more should they be doing?
It caught a lot of us by surprise.
Harris County Sheriff's Deputy Christina Kohler left home last week and was never seen again. Houston police issuing this alert. The 37-year-old found on the 13th. She had taken her own life. 3 days later, Maria Vasquez, who left the department in December, died by apparent suicide. William Bozeman, also a former deputy, died earlier this week. Tragic news.
One is too many. 2, 3, it's definitely devastating.
That Jose Lopez is helping his friends and colleagues try to process.
It hits very close to home, and it's a reminder to us of how fragile life is. It's also a reminder that we do need to look out for each other. We do need to take care of each other.
Lopez is the president of the Harris County Deputies Organization, but he knew 2 of the late deputies personally.
I knew him for over 20 years.
In just 6 weeks' time, 4 current and former deputies have taken their own lives.
We're not, per usual, we're not getting the whole story. You know how you read something or you hear something and it always asks more questions than it answers? This asks way more questions than it answers. You're going to get to the bottom of it? Likely not. Are you going to hear more about it? Likely not. Thoughts and prayers, that's what they're going to say. Thoughts and prayers. It's enough. There was the last video a few months ago was a few days. This is 6 weeks, and you have, these seem young. These, I don't know, but something is not right, is what I'm trying to say.
Psychologist Thomas McNeese is the director of the department's Behavioral Health Division.
These last few weeks have been difficult for our staff and for the sheriff's office as a whole.
He says he and his division work to provide resources to both former and current employees who are struggling. They embed to help people feel more comfortable.
This profession, unfortunately, takes a toll on people, and over time, the longer they're in it, the more of a toll that it takes, and it changes people.
First responders historically have a high rate of suicide.
It's a combination of things like what they see on the job and then what the job entails.
While the department has been focused on mental health, often leading the way, Lopez says these last few weeks have raised questions.
We can't help to ask the question of, is that enough? You know, do we need to do something different? What else can we do?
And as they work to support those grieving, McNeese with this message to anyone who might be in crisis.
Reaching out, getting some help, doing something to be able to not stay stuck where you're at is really important.
Jessica Willey, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Anyway, so yeah, that's where we're at with this at this point. I don't know. I'm just saying they want to send it out in thoughts and prayer. Let's see what the comments got to say, if they got them turned on. Yeah, it's going to load forever. Anyway, like I was saying, that's where we're at with this. I mean, it is what it is. It's a stressful job, for sure. Law enforcement, EMS, stressful job. But I'm no psychologist. I'm just going to say from my experience, my husband being in law enforcement and me being in former law enforcement, former EMS. I know, like, when law enforcement these days are not working, they only want to seem to hang out with law enforcement. Well, you got to leave the job behind at some point, and trust and believe, I've seen it. When law enforcement hangs out with law enforcement, they talk about their job, they talk about this, they talk about that. You got to hang out and chill out with people that are not in law enforcement to take your mind off of what is going on, to have a different perspective, if that makes sense. You're not rehashing the same shit that you were just going through earlier in the day, or the day before, or the week before. You're hanging out with people that are not in it, that talk about totally unrelated to, so you can kind of forget for a minute. I don't want to say what you're dealing with, but let the job go for a while, is what I'm trying to say. Refresh your brain. Take a step back. Take a breath. I'm just saying, I'm no psychologist. I'm just saying, based on my experience, best thing to do is, when you're not working, go. Matter of fact, whatever town you're in, go to the next town over and hang out there. Go shoot some pool. I don't know. Go swim in a pool. Go do something that gets your mind off of the job. Anyway, that's where we're at. Also, I think I forgot to say it in the middle. I can't remember. 93% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. You got your phone in your hand, you got your laptop, click the button, and I'll let it go. Yeah, let me know what you think about this one, and I'm out.